Something's happening. We are live. You are live. Can you see the same as me?
I'm also live.
You're also live. So hi everyone. This is a little bit experimental on our behalf. We are Cognitive Sports Therapy, and it's Nicola and Claire. And it's the first time I'm using this medium. It's called StreamYard to kind of get ourselves onto Facebook Live. So I hope it's working. And I think the idea from today was just to have a really brief chat, like literally 10, 15 minutes on, I guess, the benefits of using our body for our mental health. Because obviously, cognitive sports therapy, we're all about mind, body, breath. And we've had Lucy the last couple of weeks talking about breath. But we've got Nicola in the house. Oh no, my computer is going funny. Can you still hear me?
I
You
can
know what's
still
going to happen.
so,
Still here? I'm still
I'm
live.
still, yeah, you're still there.
I'm still here. So we were talking about kind of, I guess, physical stuff. We've always known for years that it's good for our physical health. So exercise, I mean, but I guess there's more and more information coming through to say how good it is for our mental health, and that's what we're about, kind of at cognitive sports therapy. I think I've seen statistics for 30% less depression if you move regularly, and that's as little as doing 10 minutes of walking every day. I love that statistic. It's brilliant. And I guess the thing that I kind of wondered about Nicola and I having a wee bit of a chat about is that's great. We all know that it helps, but what do we do whenever we don't really feel like it? Because I guess one of the key things of being a bit anxious or being stressed or being depressed is that you don't really have the motivation. And I think you kind of have lots of kind of good tips for that, Nicola.
So I think one of the first things we need to think about is what exercise is, and perhaps change our perception. So often we think of exercise having to be a real calorie burner, a real heart rate riser, and also to commit quite a lot of time to it. So I think it really helps if we think about the different types of movement that can be included in that umbrella of exercise. It can be a walk with a friend. It can be hoovering the house. It can be doing the housework. It could be DIY, gardening, all those things, in addition to spin classes and going for a run, swimming, all the classic things that we associate with exercise. And moving our body in terms of mental health, it can be any kind of movement. It produces the same kind of chemical response in the brain and those kind of feel good factors. So any kind of on the scale of a runner's high, okay, we think about going running and think about getting that runner's high. Any kind of movement can produce that kind of good feeling in our brains and can last for a long time. So we think first of all what exercise means to you, and there are several different things that work for me in terms of motivation, but also across the board really. And one of them would be a real key thing is to do something you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And it's shown time and time again that if you enjoy something, you're more likely to stick to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
one of the
tricky though. It's tricky though, isn't it? Sometimes to know, like if you've been, mobile or an exercise person all your life, you kind of maybe know what you enjoy. But for some people that I meet, they kind of are like, I don't really know. I mean, how do you go about finding something that you do enjoy? I know
I
you've done this with clients, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes it's we've forgotten what we enjoy.
Yeah,
So circumstances in our lives can change. So what did you enjoy doing pre-baby? What did you do before you had this job? What did you do pre-COVID? Okay, so it's kind of thinking about what we used to do, what used to make us happy when we were a teenager.
yeah.
Why did we stop doing that? So it can be revisiting things we've done before,
Mm,
but it can also be trying new things. So I will come to that a little bit later, but the key thing is enjoyment, because we are more likely to stick to it, as I said,
yeah,
and it's just boosts all those feel good chemicals.
yeah,
It's a case of if we have to do something, if we feel compelled to do it because we should, we're less likely to do it. So
yeah,
if we've got other motivators like enjoyment, that's a really good key thing.
yeah.
So another thing
And
is, yeah, go on.
yeah, no, I was going to say the other one that you kind of had already said about that thing about doing something with a friend is the other one that I think you're probably about to say that, aren't you?
That's exactly it. So the other thing is what we talked about just before we came live, wasn't it? Your
Mm.
motivation today was going, instead of doing a Swift on your bike indoors, it was going outside in the sun with a friend. So
Yeah,
it incorporates two of those motivation factors right there. So going with a friend helps because you're getting extrinsic motivation in a way,
Yeah.
getting somebody else saying to you, let's do it. If you've made an appointment, you turn up for it. Okay,
Yeah.
rather than thinking I've got the whole of Sunday to exercise, you kind of keep putting it off, putting it, putting it off. But if you have, right, I'm meeting my friend at 9 a.m., we're going for a run, you're not going to let that person down. So you're going to more likely to meet that person. And another part of that would be perhaps to join a group. So Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, you do that running group, or you
Yeah.
join a team. Okay, and there's lots of benefits to exercising as part of a team. You get the social element, you get the feeling of being part of something, which is a really positive, being part of the community, as well as the movement, obviously. So there's so many
Yeah.
factors why it's good to join a group.
I think that's the one that's been tricky, hasn't it, because of COVID, is that if you've been a kind of part of a team, but I think it's something we forget. It's something we do more, I think, whenever we're younger, isn't it? But actually, there's a lot of adult teams out there, and actually, I think that if you're part of a team, then that they have been doing the kind of virtual kind of catch ups and training kind of schedules online as well. So I don't know about you, but I think there's been a benefit in some of the COVID stuff to be able to try out some of these things that you wouldn't normally necessarily be able to do because they've all gone online.
I totally agree. And you can join people that you perhaps used to work out with when you lived in a different country or in
That's
a different
amazing, isn't it?
country. So you can reconnect. Yeah, so that definitely pluses. Um, so just back to what the point you made about finding it harder when you're older. In school, we're put into teams, aren't we? We're like, oh, you're tall, you'll be a good goal shooter. You're good at throwing, you'll be good in the cricket team. We're kind of encouraged to do that. But when we're kind of left
Yeah.
to our own devices, when we leave school, college, university, it's like if you want to play netball, football, you've got to go out and find that team for yourself. So
Yeah.
it is harder, and we have to decide to do that. We need to decide that's how we want to spend our time. So we have to be more proactive about it. But once we've made that step, we're like, you know what, I really enjoy playing football. Is there a local team I can join? And obviously, as things are starting to open up, there's going to be so much more opportunity to do that, which is fantastic. So making those appointments, and again, it goes along with trying something new. So perhaps trying something new that you don't know that you enjoy. You're not going to take any risk really. If you turn up to a session you don't enjoy, you don't go again. But if you don't try something new, you don't know what you're missing. So, for example, personally, this lockdown, I have tried dance classes, which I haven't tried for years. It's not my forte, but the enjoyment it has given me is huge, but a real smile on my face. To me, it doesn't feel like exercise. But a lot of
Yeah.
the training we do is hard. It's strength training, weightlifting, running. It's quite intense. So obviously, along with yoga, which I've also recently discovered the last couple of years,
Mm.
trying dance just gave me something that I didn't know I was missing. So I think a real key thing again for motivation is trying something new.
Yeah.
When it comes to things being open again, take somebody with you if you're nervous about meeting new people. The great thing again about COVID is you are behind a computer screen, so you can turn off your screen, you can mute yourself, you can be as involved in that session as you want to be. It's kind of a safe way to try things, really.
And I think the thing you've tapped into there as well is that there is something to be said about having some variety. So, having a kind of a mix of things in the week. I actually, from where I'm sitting as a doctor, kind of see that as being better for our bodies. Because one of the worst things I see when people get into this way of using their body for their mental health is that they pick up an injury and then they can't do some kind of sport that they then feel, their mood then drops again. So having kind of that cross training and having different things that you can enjoy and do takes
Yeah.
that pressure off your body, makes you less likely to get injured. And I think it also just it makes it more fun, I guess. It makes it more enjoyable, doesn't it?
It does. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Yeah.
It is super, particularly as we get older. Our bodies need more of a rest between intense sessions
Yeah.
if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. And I tried yoga, for example, for years and years. Um, what I found was it was very much tied to the type of yoga and the
Yeah.
instructor. So my point would be, even if you try something new and it's not
And
quite for
just, yeah.
you, perhaps revisit it again in a
Yeah.
different environment. So there are so many options, and often for free, online on YouTube. We obviously offer videos and things of different yogas and different exercise sessions for you to try for free. But also lots of clubs, as they start to open up again after the lockdowns, they will be offering free sessions. So
Yeah.
now it's time to really have a look online what's happening locally for you. Perhaps chat to a friend and think about joining a group together, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The free thing's really interesting, isn't it? Because I think you're right. I think it's a really good way to try out a session, but equally, if you find something that you like and you enjoy, there's a lot of evidence that says if you actually pay for it, you're more likely to actually buy into it a little bit. There's a commitment that comes with that, and we almost value it more if we've paid for those sessions. So
there is some psychology behind it for sure.
yeah,
One of the classes I'm launching in April, instead of being free, which it has been in the past, the first session, I'm actually charging £2 because it's minimal, but it's kind of like, no, I've paid, I've committed to
you're
do
more
it.
likely to go.
Enough. Yeah, exactly. So that could be a motivator for you too. If you put a little bit of money into it, a little bit of investment, maybe you're more likely to stick to it. So
Yeah,
that's a very good point. I would add that any of the things that you can do for movement, if you put them outside in the fresh air,
yeah,
you get extra benefit from all of the things you get from moving your body. You're part of a community, you're part of the planet. If you hear the birds sing, you see the buds on the trees, you might wave somebody hi as you pass them. It just makes you think something bigger, something outside the wall, something outside your head. Obviously, science has shown time and time again that being outside is good for you. And I think
yeah.
if we can take our exercise outside as much as possible, do that. And it's a great way to walk, see a friend, be part of something bigger.
Yeah, and that's much easier just as the days are getting longer, aren't they? And the weather is getting better, then actually there's more drive to do that because up until now it's been a bit like, oh, I'd rather stay inside with my class, but actually it's quite nice now that the weather's nicer. There's more appeal to that, isn't there, as the
Yeah.
weather gets better?
Clocks are changing this weekend, so even more so.
Yeah, even
The other
more so.
one thing I would add, just to finish up, would be don't think of it as I've got to exercise for an hour a day, for example.
Yeah,
So if you want to break up your movement into smaller sections, into smaller chunks, that also works. So it could be as simple as I'm going to walk the kids to school instead of drive them, or we're going to bike to school. So you can incorporate your exercise into your daily routine.
yeah.
That's really important. And perhaps dance while you're vacuuming, double that. It's
Stick on
about
some music. Yeah,
again, it's about changing that perception of what exercise is and
yeah,
what it should do. It's not about
yeah,
just the calories and weight loss. It's about how do you feel? How are you
yeah.
feeling? That's it.
Yeah. And there's so much evidence for that it can be done in chunks and it's just as good for your kind of mental state and your heart and lungs and everything. So yeah, there's absolutely no need because I think if you're busy and you're working or you've got family and you've got other commitments, the trying to find an hour just doesn't really happen for a lot of people. So even those kind of tips of sort of doing some squats while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, up and down that bottom step while, the kids are putting their shoes on. There's the kind of little moments in the day where you're kind of, you've got those time. I saw someone posted something about doing some mindful breathing whenever they were doing photocopying at work, which I just thought was amazing. But, there's these opportunities that are there. It's just, making the most of them, I guess, and recognizing that they exist, and not not waiting for the ideal moment and circumstances which might not happen and stops it from starting. But
It's removing those barriers against
yeah,
exercise.
yeah,
And we're here to help people do that, right? So if they're like, I don't know how to incorporate exercise into my day, this is my schedule, help me, we'll be able to help them.
yeah,
Get in contact with us and we will absolutely help you do that.
brilliant. Yeah, and we're doing a thing at the minute. We're called Green Spring. We did it last year. So if you're kind of looking for some inspiration and just want to kind of have a supportive group around you, then I would encourage anybody to join us. And we will run that through spring. And it doesn't need, as I say, doesn't need to be an hour of exercise. It's just what you can fit into your day. Hopefully you'll feel better for it. I know that I do, and that's why we do what we do. But thanks for joining us. I hope that's worked. I'm going to go and look at Facebook Live myself now to see if it's actually broadcast across. But thank you for coming, Nicola.
Oh, thanks
Um,
for having me. Pleasure.
and have a good day. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.